when we try to, it's like sometimes the internet just want to slow down here.
Yeah.
Let's listen to that MLK rap. Maybe this is it here. Let me see if this is it.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream.
It'll take a nation of millions to hold us back. Brown versus poor, open some doors. Back then, they call all blacks Negroes. We kick it off the top, sorta like Cerebro. Separate is an equal when in practice. My school is a shack, mine's is a pad. Do I have to sit in the back of the bus? That's whackness. Second class citizen on account of my blackness. They say to change the world, you gotta take a stand. Rosa Parks took a seat, changed the face of the land. Martin had a plan, that even if you wanna change the world, that didn't mean you gotta kill another man. Inspired by the people like the Rora Gandhi. A pacifist in the war without an army, cause they can't harm me no matter how the end seems. I wonder if Mr. King is still having dreams.
I have a dream. Let freedom ring. This must become true. So let freedom ring.
MLK had a dream, took it mainstream. Civil rights bill, voting rights acts, they passed. Modern day Jesus, turning the other cheek. Some blacks like, dog, that's weak. I'm not looking to get beat deep in the next week. My everyday life is police brutality. Malcolm picked up X and dropped his slave name. Radical change, defense by any means. When our hearts to Mecca, select God protection. Whites and blacks, yeah, we in this together. There are race riots. People are dying, warfare, watts, tear gas, bullets are flying. So JFK, he got assassinated. MLK, he got assassinated. Malcolm X, he got assassinated. So it's up to us to keep that dream alive.
Freedom ring. I have a dream. Let freedom ring. This must become true. So let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. I have a dream. Let freedom ring. This must become true. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred.
A lot of what he's saying is actual fact. And it's actual fact.
Are you looking for a professional logo design for your website, brand, or business? Then we are the company you are looking for. We are professional graphic designers, and with our skills, we will design a perfect, high-quality logo for you. We work with standout concepts, nice contrasts, and color balance. Please let us know your text for using logo, web address, color of logo that you want. We will design 3 variations of your logo for you to choose from for only $99.95, with 100% refund of your $99.95
Events around
if
America
you're not
honoring
satisfied.
Martin Luther King Jr. today. Secretary of Homeland Security Jay Johnson laying a wreath at the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. Here in New York City, Reverend Al Sharpton spoke out at an event about the role he sees of today's civil rights leaders.
Part of the role of activists is to get your attention. You don't see me on Dancing with the Stars. You see us dealing with social issues and to draw the attention to those issues. And if you don't do that, people are not going to deal with those issues.
Joining me now, Dinesh D'Souza, creator of the documentary film America and author of the book The End of Racism. Dinesh, good to see you. And so that's an explanation, I suppose, of types from Al Sharpton about why he behaves the way he behaves. You see a stark contrast between his tactics and those of Dr. King.
Megan, the greatness of Martin Luther King is that it isn't just his personal qualities, but it's that there was a tradition that went for hundreds of years, all the way back to Frederick Douglass, through Booker T. Washington to Martin Luther King. And this was a century of black protest aimed at establishing the idea that we are in this country a minority of one, that our rights don't come to us as members of groups, but they belong to us because we are individuals. And in one of his most moving lines, King said that every man must write with his own hand the charter of his Emancipation Proclamation. So this idea that we should take responsibility for our lives and we have the right to be treated equally under the law, this is the Martin Luther King legacy, but how different a legacy it is from the current generation of race activists, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, but I would add Eric Holder and Barack Obama, who are cut from a completely different cloth and have a completely different attitude toward the colorblind ideal, which they reject.
How so? I mean, how do you put Al Sharpton in the same field as Barack Obama?
Well, they're not the same. I mean, Obama is actually a very odd example because although he's the first African-American president, he hasn't actually had the African-American experience. In fact, he's not descended from slaves on either side of his family. His father was simply a foreign student who came here.
He has black skin and he grew up in America as a black man.
Well, he grew up in Hawaii, and then he spent a considerable amount of time in Indonesia. He's made multiple trips to Kenya. He's talked about how he shares the dreams of his father.
That does not deprive him of his experience as a black man. Okay, let's move on to your next point, because you're also actually taking heat for some of the similar comments you made on Twitter today, including the following. Soul Brothers, you tweeted. Obama gets along so well with guys like Holder and Sharpton because they are all shakedown artists of one sort or another. A little strong, no?
Well, I think what's happening is it's not actually strong. I think what we see today is that the leaders of today, far from trying to establish a colorblind idea, use race in order to...
There you have it, man. That's
Shut off
Dinesh,
like that?
Huh?
That was a pretty abrupt shutdown.
Yeah, no, that's Dinesh D'Souza for you. What can you say? You know? Here's
So,
another guy trying to tell our story.
yeah.
Right?
The people, they really hate Al Sharpton. I don't know why. People get really upset.
You know why they hate Al Sharpton?
The same reason that they hated Martin Luther King while he was alive. Or?
Right. You know, they don't want a person like Al Sharpton, or they want to create the type of Al Sharpton that they want to see.
Well,
right?
They almost have that type of Al Sharpton, I'd say. I mean, he's
Who's that?
a media celebrity, more so than anything. I mean, you know, where when something happens and Al Sharpton comes out, rather than focus on whatever happened, be that Eric Garner or Trayvon or Michael Brown, then the camera focuses on Al Sharpton. You can have 100 other activists standing on you know, near him, but the camera is going to focus solely on Al Sharpton. And because of that, I mean, not to say that he should step back, but they'll say, well, we're your leaders. That's all you have. But that's who the media wants to deal with. And then, I mean, you know, Al Sharpton has a television program. He's, you know, he's a media personality. But, you know, the vilifying of him, you know, I think about that. And I think that maybe that's how Martin Luther King was treated at that time.
You know, it's funny. Just recently, last year sometime, they had a story about Al Sharpton. Well, the Daily News.
Okay.
That he was a paid informer. He was an FBI informant. Taping conversation with mob pals to help bring down Genevieve's crime family. Right? And they try to bring these things up. I mean, it happened years ago. And all of a sudden, sometimes you see a post on Facebook, Reverend Al Sharpton. As soon as like one of these things happen, and Al Sharpton's at the forefront, Reverend Al Sharpton was a paid informant. You know,
Or he never apologized for Tawana Bradley or any
trying
of that
to belittle. You know,
again, I thought about that and coming up with that concept, the challenge of black leadership, because, you know, people will hear the discredit discrediting of this man and just assume that that's okay.
And here's an article in the New York Daily News, April the 8th, 2014. He has the titles of civil rights activist, presidential candidate, and TV host. But for a time, the FBI secretly called Reverend Al Sharpton something else, CL7, a confidential informant who taped mobsters with a bug briefcase, helping the feds bring down members of the Genovese crime family. It was revealed Monday. For 4 years in the 1980s, listen to this. For 4 years in the 1980s, this is an article in 2014. The 1980s was 30-something years ago.
Right.
Right? The Daily News is publishing a story. Reverend Al worked as an FBI informant, taping conversation with mob pals to help bring down Genovese crime family, a report. 30-something years later, Sharpton wrote, for 4 years in the 1980s, Sharpton secretly assisted Joint FBI NYPD task force known as the Genovese Squad, the Smoking Gun website disclosed. Sharpton rose as the FBI informant was first disclosed in 1988 by the Smoking Gun, obtained hundreds of pages of secret court filings and FBI memos that provided stunning new details of his corporation. 1988, how much years is that? 20
years.
over a quarter of a century. The documents depict Sharpton operating easily in an underworld of violence and corruption, helping the feds collect essential information. So all that goes to show you is that when the media decides that we want to take you out, they can do that at any time. They can bring up something from the 1970s, and publish it as a headline, and then everybody's going to run with it. Facebook is going to run with it. And people were posting this on Facebook like if it just happened yesterday. It's over 25 years ago. 25 years ago. And they're posting it now as soon as this Trayvon Martin situation happened, as soon as the Eric Garner situation happened. Now they're posting it. Well, what is the significance of it?
Hey, maybe we're, as a leader, if you're black, you're supposed to be squeaky clean. And then when he's trying to help take down the mob, I mean, does that really count as being an informant? I could see if he was an informant on,
black. Actually, he was trying to bring down his own black people. You know what I mean? He was an informant in the Genovese family. Come on, be realistic. And they have the gall to say that this is news. I mean, and thing about it is that then people are posting it on Facebook. You got to tell them, listen, man, that's a quarter of a century ago. That's a long time ago, man, to be bringing that up. And it's headline in the Daily News. And I'm sure once the Daily News publishes it, other people, New York Post. It's funny. The New York Post, the Smoking Gun, had it on the 7th. I guess New York Daily News took it, right? Then the New York Post also ran with it, right? Because it's now a local story, right? And what does this have to really do with anything? Sharpton secretly worked as FBI mob informant report. New York Post headline. So Daily News, New York Post.
Whatever it takes. Maybe in 20 years they'll have a monument.
So that means to say that. That means to say that. That means to say that. Listen, we are going to create your leaders, and if they step out of line, we are going to bring them down.
Yeah.
We want to create them, all right, and we want to make them in our image. But as soon as you step out of line, we're going to have to put you in a naughty corner. Don't step out of line, Al. That's what it did to Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson have been really silent. He's been silenced. Silence him.
There's a challenge.